Right, welcome to this video tutorial. In this video tutorial, I want to talk about project tracking on QuickBooks. There are two ways of doing it. Either we use class tracking, what we term class tracking, or we use what we term job tracking. So those are basically the two ways that you can use. So I'm going to demonstrate the two methods or the two ways. Then you have to select which one you find appropriate. Right, jobs or classes, class tracking or project tracking mostly has to do with clients. You want to track client jobs, right, or client projects. When you get projects from customers or clients, you want to be able to track them in terms of the costs which have gone into that project, and also probably in terms of revenues which have been generated from that particular project. The essence of it is that you want to measure the profitability of that project. You want to see if the project is profitable, right? So if you were to use job tracking, which I'm going to demonstrate as a first method, basically the way for you to set up is you have to come here on customers, then you create a customer. First you have to create a customer, so you click on customer center. Right, some of the customers are already created. So when you click on customer center, you then click on new customer, then you click on new customer again. So first you have to click on new customer job, then you click on new customer. So probably let's term this customer for ours project tracking, right? Well, okay, let's say probably this is the name of our client or our customer. So project tracking is our customer. I'm not going to put much details. I'm putting that customer name, which I'm also copying to company name. Let's just assume this is a company, right? Then I could just put in all the other relevant details in terms of probably the name of the contact person, telephone numbers, main telephone, main work phone, mobile number, email addresses, and everything else. Down here, I could put in the contact details like the addresses. Then of course I could, as usual, set up the payment settings. If we're charging VAT, I could put up that. Then I could come down here and if there are customer types and everything, I could put up there. Then I could even continue and put job info, but I'm not going to put in job info here. I'm not going to put in job info. Let's say we just got this client, we haven't done any business with the client, so basically we're just creating the client for now, or the customer. So once we have done that, we click on OK, right? After clicking on OK, you'd find that our client or our customer is created. Now let's say this customer is giving us various projects or various businesses, and we want to track in terms of revenues and costs and see if the projects that we are getting are profitable, whichever way, or just to see the costs which have gone into that particular project. Now we have to create a job which will link to this customer or to this client. So again, we come via customers, customer center. It will take us to this window, the window which we are on. Then we have to click on new customer and job. But now this time around, instead of clicking on new customer, we're going to click on add job, right? So click on add job, right? So the client, the customer will be project tracking. Then we have to add a job name. Let's say probably we got in order to build a house for this customer in Mandara. So we could just name this Mandara House Construction. All right. Okay. So what that does now is it's now linked to this customer, right? If you wanted to link to any other customer, you could just click there. But in our case, we're just linking to this customer, right? Then we click on OK. That's what we all do. So you'd find under project tracking, there is now this job. If there was another job related to this customer, we will just come down there. Then again, we come here, we click on add job. Let's say probably we're also again building a house for, I'm just using houses because this is a construction company. Yes, supplying construction products, probably also doing construction products. Let's say we're building a house for the same client in Mount Pleasant Heights, right? So we could just put that again as a project, right? Now we've got two projects that we are doing for this client, and this is how we set it up first. So this is the job, the customer job method that we are setting up. Now you'd find each time we're now processing transactions for the business related to this client or to this customer, we can now link to the project. Now let's say probably we are procuring material. We've procured material for the Mandara house construction. We could have to come here on, let's say we are procuring it by cash. In other words, we're buying cash. We are buying cash. We could just come here and then we say banking. Then we write checks, right? We write checks. Then we are buying items for this house, for this project. So we could now click on items. Then we come here, we select the item that we're buying. Let's probably say we bought these 110 millimeter Caliper trap items, and probably let's say I'm just going to put one for demonstration, right? Then that will be the amount. Now for us to link with the customer, we now have to, what is more important, we now have to come on customer job, this tab. Then we click on the drop down arrow. When you click on the drop down arrow, we may not necessarily click on the drop down arrow. We could just type in, like in this case, Mandara, right? So when we type Mandara project, it will bring project tracking Mandara house construction. Then we say, okay. Now the system will prompt us and say, is it billable, right? We are going to say, we are going to remove tick because we don't want to put a tick there, right? So we'll remove the tick. Then we'll save and close. In other words, what we have done, we have procured this item for this client, and we have linked it to the client. So we'll save and close, right? Okay. Now let's say the time to invoice this client has come. We bought supplied items for the client, for the project. We now have to invoice. We now have to raise an invoice. Again, we'll come here and say customers, right? Then we'll create the invoice. Okay. Right. Then here now, we have to select the client or the customer project tracking, but now we're going to select by job because we want to invoice specifically for this job. So we'll come here, select the item, right? In this case, we're just going to use the Gali, the 110 millimeter Gali trap, and we sold, let's say we sold one item, the one that we bought, right? So once we have done that, we then save and close. It may prompt us this, we just say ignore all, then we save and close, right? So by so doing, if we wanted to review, let's say we had done numerous costs and then we invoiced. If we wanted to review the profitability of this project, or just to see what went in and what revenue was generated, we could then have to come here and click on reports. Then we come and say job, time and mileage, right? Then we could just come here and click on job profitability summary or job profitability detail. We could click here, right? Then we have to select the project. This is very important because we want to see project. So we could say Mandara House. Then we just click on OK. Right. So you'd find it will show us actual costs that we incurred. If they were numerous, they were going to be listed there. Then the revenue that we got, then the difference, which is basically the profit. If we had incurred more costs than revenue, it means, of course, it would actually show a loss there. So basically, that's how, of course, one way of seeing profitability of a particular job. The other way of seeing that could be to come back to reports. Then probably we could do company and financials. Then we could look for profitability or profit or and loss by job. Could say profit and loss by job. Then when we do that, you'd see it would actually, like in this case, it brought up by clients, what we bought and what we sold. Right. Let's say, for example, we want to see, right, yes, we are seeing by customer and job. So we could actually see the income that came in, by the sales, the cost which went in, right, and then the net income which came from each project. Like in this case, if I'm looking at this, it would actually tell me that we didn't make much, right? But on this one, we made a profit. On this one, there is this. Then on this one, we made a profit. Of course, there was no cost there. On this one, we made a profit. So basically, that's how we do project tracking. It's meant to allow us to see. So you'd see actually all these clients, right? We are now seeing all these. So you could actually see the one in a particular time who has brought more. Like in this case, the Mandara, the one that we just did, you'd find this one we sold $7 and we had incurred $5 and we made a profit of $2. See, so basically this is how we analyze projects or how we do project tracking by customer job, right? So for now, I'm stopping here. When we come back, we'll now look how to use class tracking. It has got the same effect. We'll see now how to use class tracking. Then you have to select which method you feel is best or probably it's easier to use. Thank you.